recording. Okay, very quickly, I'm going to share with you my top 10 decision-making rules, principles that if you live by, you're going to make very quick and powerful decisions that move your life forward, and you're going to spend very little time stuck in hesitation and procrastination. I bring this up because so many of my client sessions have been about decision-making lately, and I just sort of came up with these off the top of my head, which also aligns with the principles. So I wrote this thing in like 5 minutes. So let's have a look at it right now, very quick. Okay. Rule number 1. Before even considering the decision, step back and ask yourself, is this the most important thing for me to be deciding on right now? And if not, change your focus. So always make sure that when you are making decisions that you're being essential. Is this the thing I need to be deciding on rather than putting off the thing I should be deciding on? So it's like a meta level of decision making. First decide what you should be deciding on and then make decisions. Number 2, give yourself a 10-minute time limit. Your brain is such a good problem-solving machine that you really don't need longer than this to come to a decision. If it's taking you longer than that, then this is fear, doubt, and insecurity. It's not actually practical thinking or good consideration. So if you can't get to a hell yes on your next move within 10 minutes, then default to a hell no. Drop it, move on with your life. Only come back to it if you're forced to. And in that case, also still make a decision within 10 minutes. Give you an idea, this tattoo, I decided in 10 minutes. If I can decide on a tattoo in 10 minutes, you can decide on anything in 10 minutes. Okay. Number 3, once you come to a clear decision, you're not allowed to go backwards. Okay, once you know in any sense what the right thing is to do, or even feel 80% sure towards it, you must draw a line in the sand. You're now not allowed to go back into consideration or thinking or reviewing or researching. You must now take an action. Even if it's just a small, even just a symbolic action to put the decision into life, to make it real. That must be your next step. You're not allowed to rethink something you've already thought about. Okay. Number 4, never do anything that you wouldn't accept being done to you. It's a very simple one, especially when it comes to social decisions. This includes people pleasing. So quite often people pleasing goes one way, like you do things for others, but you wouldn't want them done for you. So anything you do to another person must pass through the filter, I would want this done to me, or I would appreciate this being done to me. If it can't get through that filter, you can't do it. Okay. Number 5, align with reality rather than fighting against it or betraying it, which is just a fancy way of saying be honest in what you say and what you do. Use scientific method to investigate the truth. Okay, whichever option you're looking at has the most evidence supporting it, not just feeling, evidence, then you have to go with that no matter how you feel. So even if you'd rather do this, but the evidence shows you that this is probably going to get better results, then you've got to go with that. Okay. I'm not talking about breaching your values just because there's evidence of getting results. That might have been how that sounded. What I mean is, for example, the vaccination thing's a great one. You might not feel like getting a vaccination because you saw a YouTube video saying that they'll put a microchip in you, but the weight of scientific evidence says that it's better to get a vaccination than risk getting COVID. So you've got to go with that even though you don't feel like it. That's what powerful, accurate decision making looks like. Number 6, discard what everyone else is doing. It doesn't matter if you're the only one going in this direction. Assume that other people's decision making has no correlation with efficacy. It's other people's decision making is not proof of anything. They could be right, they could be wrong. There's nothing about other people deciding that should influence you. The only exception I make to that is when people you really trust and look up to make the similar decision, and people who have like great wisdom. But even then, you're still going to make your own call. Number 7, focus only on what you can control and make the goal to live according to your values. Desired outcomes should just be a consequence of you living by your values. They shouldn't be the goal itself. Number 8, view decision-making as just a quick step forward into action. Emphasize the idea, I'll deal with the consequences, whatever they may be, rather than trying to avoid making a mistake. So when in doubt, just flip a coin. It doesn't really matter, actually, what your decision is. What matters is how you handle the consequences of it. That's where your life actually exists. So your decisions are actually quite arbitrary because you have no idea in the long run whether they were good or bad. It's all about how you handle them. Number 9, refer to your future self. You in 5 years from now, what do they wish you would do? You know, what does he or she hope that you'll do? Try to make their life easy for them. And number 10, once you've done a significant decision, take a moment to ask yourself, yourself, what one lesson did I learn from this? And once you've noted that lesson, move on with your life and don't look back at that decision ever again. That's how I try to make decisions, or at least the decisions that help me the most. Hope that was helpful. See you all next time. Cheers.